Well, it's Sunday evening here in Altoona, Iowa. I'm Dave, and I'd like to welcome you back to Scale Models Midwest. Let's see what's on the workbench tonight. The previous video I was talking about wanting to build a kit from Salvinos JR models. I've built several of them so far, but I haven't built one in a while. I've kind of fallen behind, and I'll show you in a minute how far I've fallen behind in building their kits. And on the Facebook group, of which I'm a member, I've watched everybody else build their kits, and I'm thinking, man, I just really want to get in there, start building one of the kits again. I've built a couple of kits here over the past couple of months, but I really wanted to get into one of their kits because I've seen how some of the people are just having fun with them, with aftermarket decals, aftermarket equipment, and even box stock builds, which is what I primarily do. But then I thought I wanted to do something that has been kind of getting at me for a good long time, and that is building two kits at the same time, the same kit, but going about it in different manners. Well, first of all, I'll show you the kit. Happens to be, to me, my favorite driver of all time, because as a kid I met the guy. Richard Perry, the king. Being from North Carolina, used to go to the state fair and he'd have some of his cars on display. I don't know if it was in 73 or maybe 76, you know, the year he had the infamous tangle with David Pearson in the last lap of the Daytona 500. But I got a chance to meet the man, shake his hand, and as a 8, 7, 10-year-old kid even, I was awestruck. He is the king for a reason. The guy was a hell of a race car driver and all-around good personality. He was great for the sport. So I wanted to build his kits. And one thing about Salvino JR's model is when they talked about getting the Petty Chargers out there, the community just went bananas. And next thing you know, as soon as they started coming out, everybody's building the kit. I fell behind because I was building some other kits at the time, but then I thought, time to build mine, because I've got some of them stockpiling, and I just wanted to get out there and do one. So why do I have two kits? Well, the first kit, I'm going to do a relatively simple box stock paint detail build. Hopefully it'll take about 2 weeks at the most to build, you know, because like most people, I have a full-time job. My wife won't let me retire. Just kidding. And the second one, I'm actually going to show you quite a bit of detail on that. I'm going to kind of jump into some uncharted waters as well. So like I've said before, warts and all, if I make any mistakes, you're going to see them, or as Bob Ross would call them, happy accidents. But I'm going to go to the aftermarket. I'm going to check out all sorts of things like wiring. I'm going to try and get some of those fittings that Jim Rogers sells as part of his box of crap, and just have some fun really detailing it up like I've seen some of the other model builders do, like Todd Keyes or Lucas C. or Clay Kemp. If you ever have a chance to see some of their work, Clay Kemp especially, he's had quite a bit of his work in the model magazines like the now defunct Scale Auto Enthusiast, and some of the other ones I think like Car Modeler and what have you. But they're all on Facebook, they're all on YouTube. I will be giving shout outs to them over time because they have inspired me, one, to really ramp up my skills in building models, and also to launch my own channel, which is being seen here today. So let's take a look at the kit and show you what we've got to work with. So for starters, kits are very, very well done. 1/25th scale. That means that the crew at Salvinos JR, which actually is 3 people, they created these kits themselves. They are all new kits. They are well engineered. The decals are fantastic. The chrome pieces are just unbelievable. And the other kits that they build, 1/24th scale, they are repops of the monogram molds from the 80s. I used to build those kits as well. I might actually have a few unbuilt kits in my collection, but they've cleaned them up, and again, decals are fantastic. The chrome is just top-notch. These 3 guys do a fantastic job, and on top of that, their customer support is probably some of the best out there. So I highly recommend, if you are looking at building model kits, go to your hobby store or go to places like Model Roundup, buy these kits and build these kits. Have some fun with these kits. So let's show you what you got. Excellent, excellent scale fidelity in the 73 Charger body. Few, if any, mold lines and flash. Hole for the fuel filler. Very well done. Like to have some fun with that. Of course, separately bagged windshields. Well done. Tires. These tires are fantastic. They do really well when you sand them, detail them. Along with the paint detail, I'll try to do some detailing on the wheels. I'm not going to take apart the plastic to get to the kits, but just to show you. And we've got well done headers. They've got a couple of different types of rims, just depending on the races they were in. Of course, well done roll cages, and if you look up there, you know, I had the little peace sign that Richard Perry had on the back of his restraint for his head. Of course, chassis done in a couple of pieces. They have, underneath this item right here, got a couple of different holes because the same chassis underpins that of things like the Oldsmobiles and the Monte Carlos that they've also built. So it's excellent that they utilize that chassis, because quite frankly, a lot of the real stock cars had very similar chassis. And of course, if you see here, there's a lot of flash on this. That's just part of the injection molding process. Take a good sharp X-Acto knife, number 11 blade, and just clean that all up. I'll be doing that myself. Once I've done that, I'll also be washing with soap and water before I work on the actual building. And then you got your chrome. Got a couple of different grills because from what I've been reading, some of these grills are for certain tracks or for certain years. And then they have a little insert piece, which I'll be doing a contrasting like satin finish so it stands out against the chrome surround. I am going to try and build the kit as close to box stock as possible with paint detail. And then, of course, well done instruction sheet. And then here's what's really cool about being a member of the Salvinos JR's kit. You get extra decals. I have an extra sheet of decals as well as a bunch of Goodyear decals for tires. I mean, that's just phenomenal. I think when you look at it, the decals alone could be, what, $7 to $10? So you can make a fantasy build. You can do whatever you want. If you mess up on decals, you've got extras. And Lord knows I had to use a second set of 92 Pontiac decals that I got in another kit because the first ones didn't set down well. But I'll show that to you on another day. But still, this is the kit that I'm building. Now, again, first kit is going to be primarily box stock, paint detail, and I hope to have it completed in about 2 weeks, maybe less if I'm lucky. And the second one will take longer. So, as I build it, I will give you updates of the progress, and then once it's finished, I'll show them side by side so you can see the differences between the two. Now, before I go, just kind of show you, everybody has their own little workbench that they show off, and here in our basement, we eventually will have it finished, but for now, I have a temporary setup, a couple of folding tables. I have, of course, parts from any model that I've built that's got extra stuff to them. I've got a lot of different sanding sticks, different types of grits and what have you. I have some extra rims, and like right here, some of Steve Zimmerman's Z's wheels. I've got some kits planned for this year that I'm going to use those for. Those wheels are fantastic. If you build model kits and would like to have some aftermarket rims, Z's wheels are definitely ones to look out for. This was kind of like an addition to my table over Christmas time. Treated myself to an inexpensive paint holder, hobby tool holder, and what have you, because sometimes when you're building kits, they can get kind of, I don't know, messed up. Over here, I've got a couple of my built kits. I'll show those to you a little bit later, but here's what I was talking about earlier. Why I have fallen behind. Every month, Salvinos JR sends you a kit. And, well, I got it, looked at it, and then set it aside. And there they sit. So this year I've got plans to build some of them. All of them? No. Some of them? Yes. I've got a couple of kits in mind that I'm also going to be working on later on this year, so you'll see those as we go along. But of course, everything in the corner, all that stuff, has been built, and I have those on display. I like to keep the boxes because someday if I want to wrap them up and put them back in the box, I'll wrap them up nice and neat, put them back in the box and go from there. Of course, over here, like anybody else, got a little prep table. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be painting the models in TS23 light blue and TS36 fluorescent red, and of course using the kit decals where need. And then of course, one of my really cool additions that I had was this paint booth. Got that a few years ago, just changed out the filter, and I love this. I love this paint booth. And as we get everything built up, I'm probably going to expand it and have a second paint booth net to it for larger kits. But other than that, that's my model table. That's my plan for building over the next couple of weeks. So let's see how it looks. We'll keep you posted. Again, thanks for joining us, and last but not least, make sure you're building for yourself, build for fun, and we'll see you the next time.